Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a case that's, well, deeply troubling, but also shows how crucial police work and forensic science can be. We're talking about the murder of Sally Ann Bowman, just 18 years old, in Croydon, London, back in 2005. We want to unpack the investigation, the details, the twists that came up, and really how justice was eventually found for Sally.
It's a case that started with so many questions. A brutal attack, seemingly random, but then connections started to emerge. It really highlights how vital forensic data can be, even from seemingly minor things.
So let's start with Sally Ann Bowman herself. Who was she? Born September 11th, 1987, so just 18. She lived in Croydon, had recently got her own flat, but was still incredibly close to her family. Her mom, Linda, said she saw her sisters almost every day, and she was talented. A model, a singer, huge potential there. She even went to the Brit School in London. That's the place where, Adele, Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, a real launching pad for talent. Shows you the kind of promise she had.
Definitely. And she had these dreams. She apparently said she wanted to be known, not necessarily like a huge star, but she aimed for the cover of Vogue. She was working part-time as a model, signed with Pulse Agency, became the face of Swatch watches, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and also worked as a hairdresser. Just building this future,
It's just heartbreaking, isn't it? That phrase, to be known, and how it ended up coming true in the worst possible way. Such a bright future, just gone.
Yeah. So let's get to that night, Saturday, September 24th, 2005. It was a spontaneous night out, sounds like. Sally decided to join her older sister Nicole and some friends at their usual spot, Lights Bar in Croydon. They stayed out till about 1 a.m. Nicole said it was an absolute excellent night. CCTV even showed Sally laughing.
It's a normal Saturday night for a young woman.
Exactly. So around 1 a.m., Sally and Nicole grab a taxi back to Nicole's place. But during that taxi ride, Sally's on the phone with her ex-boyfriend, Ruston. They'd only split up a few weeks before, so things were still, pretty emotional.
Understandable. Fresh breakups are always tough.
Right. And this is where things take a turn. At Nicole's house, Sally tells Lewis on the phone she's stranded back in Croydon town. She apparently even said Nicole had been done for fighting, arrested. Maybe just an excuse to get him to pick her up.
Possibly, yeah. A way to explain why she needed a ride right then.
She asked Lewis to come get her, and he agreed. So Sally gets another taxi back to Croydon Town Center to wait for Lewis. He picks her up around 2:20 a.m. They drive back towards her place on Blenheim Crescent, but the whole drive, they're just arguing, reflecting that recent breakup, I suppose.
Tension's running high.
And it didn't end there. They park outside her house and keep arguing in the car for another hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
Yeah, until finally, about 4 a.m., Sally gets out of the car. Lewis drives off. Then just a couple of hours later, maybe 6:30 a.m., one of Sally's neighbors wakes up, goes outside and sees something disturbing behind a skip near Sally's front door.
A skip, like a dumpster for U.S. listeners.
Right. At first, the neighbor thought it was mannequin legs.
Oh, chillin'.
Yeah. But they were closer to check. And it wasn't a mannequin. It was Sally Ann Bowman. Half naked, covered in blood, murdered.
Just horrific. And her poor mother, Linda, when the police first came, she apparently thought Sally might just be at the station, maybe for fighting, like she'd told Lewis.
Oh, God.
And then the police had to tell her, Linda, Sally's dead. She's been stabbed to death.
Yeah.
Just unimaginable.
The police investigation obviously starts immediately, and Ruston is the first focus.
Absolutely. Last person known to see her alive, admitted to arguing with her. It's the logical starting point.
They arrested him on suspicion of murder. Was he aware she was dead before that?
No, apparently not. The arrest was how he found out, which, adds another layer of trauma.
So they hold him for 4 days, questioning him, and they take his DNA.
Standard procedure. You need to rule him in or out definitively.
And this is where the first major twist happens.
This is where it gets really interesting. The DNA results come back. There is male DNA on Sally's body that isn't hers.
But it's not Ruston.
Not Lewis. It matches DNA from a completely different case. An unsolved sexual assault from 2001, 4 years earlier, just a mile and a half away.
Wow. So immediately they know.
They know they're dealing with someone who has done this before.
Yeah.
A serial attacker.
That changes everything. The police then had the grim task of telling Sally's family the details from the autopsy. She was killed right there on her driveway, less than 10 meters from her own front door.
Which strongly suggests the attacker was watching, waiting for Lewis to leave. Predatory.
The attack itself was brutal. At least 7 stab wounds, many with exit wounds. The force used was immense, and crucially, there were bite marks on her body.
And that's where they got the attacker's DNA profile.
The autopsy also revealed something deeply disturbing. Sally had been raped.
Yes, and chillingly, the forensic evidence indicated this happened after she was already dead.
Which points away from, say, a crime of passion escalating.
Exactly. It points towards a planned predatory act. And it confirmed the DNA was the attacker's, linking directly to that 2001 case.
Can you tell us about that 2001 case?
Yeah, it was quite bizarre. A man tried to get into a public phone box with a woman inside. She resisted. He didn't force his way in, but then he stood outside, masturbated, ejaculated on the phone box floor, and just walked away calmly.
And they got his DNA from that.
They did. But he was never identified. He'd been out there with his DNA on file, essentially, for 4 years.
So now police realize this guy has escalated from that to murder.
Precisely. A very dangerous individual, clearly escalating. The fear must have been intense that he would strike again, and soon.
And it turns out he almost did. Just days later, police connect another incident from the same night as Sally's murder.
The same night.
Yeah, just minutes before Sally was likely attacked. Another woman standing alone, talking on her phone nearby. A man approaches her, says, "I'm sorry," hits her, tries to push her down. But a taxi drives up the road, its lights spook him. He runs off, but grabs her phone first.
So he got away.
He did. But the person on the other end of the call heard her screaming, and apparently the screams didn't stop immediately when he ran.
Suggesting he might have been hiding nearby, watching.
That's what they feared, just lurking. This victim, she went straight to the police, gave a full description, helped create a composite sketch. White man, 20s or 30s, about 5'9" to 6'9", average build, short, dark hair.
And this sketch was circulated widely.
Everywhere. But nothing, no solid leads came from it.
So police suspected he was local, right? Or has strong ties to Croydon.
Yeah, that was the theory, which led to this huge effort. A mass DNA screening.
That's a massive undertaking. How many people are we talking about?
They targeted over 6,000 addresses near the crime scenes, took samples from about 4,000 men who vaguely matched the description.
Wow. Voluntary, presumably.
Mostly, yeah. They set up drop-in centers, hoping for a direct match or maybe even a familial DNA link, a close relative.
It's incredibly resource-intensive, a real sign of how desperate they were getting.
And frustrating. You have the killer's DNA profile, you have sketches, you've screened thousands, and still 6 months after Sally's murder, nothing concrete, he's still out there.
The fear in the community must have been palpable. And the killer likely feeling more confident with every passing day.
Then finally a breakthrough, but from a completely unexpected direction. June 2006. 6 months after the murder. There's an arrest in Crawley, which is in West Sussex, not Croydon. A guy named Mark Dixie, 35 years old, arrested after a pub fight. Seems pretty minor, especially related to a World Cup game.
Just a standard bar brawl situation.
Right. But when they run his name, turns out Mark Dixie has quite a record. Goes back to when he was 16, robbery, burglary, assault on a police officer, indecent assault, indecent exposure.
A long history.
Even got deported from Australia for indecent exposure.
Okay, so not just minor stuff. And the arresting officer noticed something odd, didn't they?
They did. Dixie was apparently very tearful during the interview for the pub fight, which seemed weird given his history and how minor the charge was.
Interesting.
So, standard procedure again. They take his DNA, his fingerprints, then they release him about an hour later. The fight wasn't deemed serious enough to hold him. 12 days pass. His DNA sample gets processed and entered into the national database.
Hey.
Ping, a match.
To Sally Ann Bowman's case.
Exactly. To the DNA found on Sally's body.
And suddenly those tears make a whole lot more sense.
Absolutely. In hindsight, it clicked. He must have realized getting arrested for anything, giving that DNA, it was only a matter of time. He knew he was caught.
The weight of knowing that link was about to be made.
So what did Dixie do in those 12 days between the arrest and the DNA match?
He fled.
Yep.
Yeah.
He went to Amsterdam, stayed there for over 3 months.
Lying low.
Seems like it. But then, apparently, after some argument with his landlord there, he just comes back to the UK.
Voluntarily.
Voluntarily. Resumes his old life working as a chef, almost like he thought he'd gotten away with it. This unbelievable arrogance.
That's chilling.
Police knew where he lived and worked from the Crawley arrest. They knew he was a chef, so they planned the arrest carefully, waited outside the pub where he worked to avoid, a dangerous situation in a kitchen full of knives.
Smart move.
Mark Dixie walks right out of the pub. They arrest him on the spot for the murder of Sally Ann Bowman.
And his reaction?
According to the arresting officer, nothing. No change in his heartbeat. Just chilling and detached.
Wow. Utter lack of reaction. That speaks volumes.
Within hours, they tell Sally's family, show them his picture. Linda Bowman's reaction. She described him as having big, ugly, bulging eyes and horrible face.
You could only imagine seeing the face of the person who did that to your child.
And here's a critical point about the system. Dixie had this long record, right?
Yes, stretching back years.
But most of it was before the UK law changed to require DNA collection upon arrest for all recordable offenses, not just serious ones.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
If that law had been in place earlier.
His DNA would likely have been on the database years before Sally's murder. When her body was found, they could have had a match within 24 hours.
Instead, it took this chance arrest months later. A delay that cost, well, who knows what it cost.
Police then pieced together Dixie's movements on the night Sally died, September 24th, 2005, which was also his birthday.
His birthday adds another layer of darkness.
He'd been out drinking, taking cocaine, at a bar just yards from Sally's home. Friends said he was acting normally for him when drunk, but then he got a phone call from his girlfriend who wasn't there celebrating with him.
And that changed things.
Dramatically. He got angry, started drinking heavily, did more cocaine. After the pub closed, around 2 a.m., he went with 2 female friends back to one of their flats. Again, just yards from Sally's house. They all went to bed.
Okay.
But around 2:30 a.m., Mark Dixie gets up, he leaves the flat, and he takes a knife with him.
He left with the intention to attack someone.
It seems undeniable. His first target appears to have been that woman on the phone we mentioned earlier.
The one the taxi scared him away from?
Exactly. After fleeing that scene, he likely ran towards Blenheim Crescent, and that's when he saw Sally and Lewis arguing in the car.
So he waited.
He waited, watched Lewis drive away, watched Sally get out, then he attacked.
Horrifying opportunism combined with that prior intent.
After the initial attack, her screams, he seemed to have fled briefly, maybe hidden nearby when neighbors might have looked out.
And then returned.
And then returned to her body to rape her. And incredibly, a neighbor did see something around 4 a.m., though without their lights on.
What did they see?
Saw a man walking towards where Sally's body was later found. But it was too dark to see who it was, likely Dixie returning.
And after all that, the attack, the hiding, the return, the rape?
He just went back to his friend's flat, went back to sleep on the sofa, woke up the next morning and acted completely normally with his friends.
The ability to compartmentalize like that is terrifying.
His trial started in February 2008, and his defense, it was something else.
What did he claim?
He claimed he didn't kill her. He said he just stumbled upon her body already dead.
Stumbled upon her?
Yeah. Said he thought she was just drunk and passed out.
Yeah.
And then admitted he raped her body after finding her like that.
That's beyond belief.
Yeah.
Given the state she was found in. Covered in blood. Stab wounds.
Exactly. The jury didn't buy it for a second. Found it completely unbelievable.
Understandably.
He never admitted the murder, never gave a reason. He got life in prison, minimum term, 35 years. Unlikely he'll ever be released.
Considered too dangerous, zero remorse.
And then there's the Australian connection. After the UK conviction, police sent his DNA profile to authorities in Australia.
Because he'd been deported from there.
Right. And it matched. Another unsolved case, this one in Perth.
What happened there?
Frighteningly similar. A woman robbed, raped, and stabbed 7 times.
7 times. Just like Sally. Did she survive?
Miraculously, yes, she survived. Gave a description. They got his DNA from the scene, but he was never caught for it until now.
So his pattern of violence went back even further, across continents. He hasn't been charged in Australia yet, though.
Not yet officially charged, but the DNA link is undeniable.
It really drives home the importance of these DNA databases, doesn't it? Not just for current cases, but for potentially solving cold cases, linking serial offenders across jurisdictions, even internationally.
Absolutely. So, wrapping this up, what do we take away from Sally Ann Bowman's case? It's a stark reminder of random violence, the kind that shatters lives in an instant. But it's also, I think, a testament to persistence.
Definitely. Forensic science, diligent police work. Even when leads run cold, sometimes that one piece of information, like Dixie's minor arrest, can change everything.
And you think about Sally herself, 18 years old, the talent, the dreams, just tragically extinguished.
Her story really highlights the devastating ripple effect these crimes have on the family, the friends, the whole community. It's a loss that never really fades.
For you listening, this case gives a real insight into how these complex investigations unfold, how painstaking it can be, and how one tiny piece of data, that DNA from a pub fight, unlocked everything. It leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? A final question to maybe mull over.
Which is?
How many other cold cases are out there? Cases that could be solved, perpetrators linked, if DNA collection was more universal, if databases were better connected, even across borders.
It's a sobering thought. The potential answers locked away in forensic data.
It is. Well, that's all we have time for on this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon with another story to explore.